What's going on, you guys? My name is Brett Bibbins, and I'm here to present something to you that by the time this presentation is over, you will want to publish this character and make him part of the DC Comics family. Now, I know all of you are wondering, who is Fantom Fire, and why should we care about publishing him in our comics? To that, I will answer, he is an alien spirit who travels from planet to planet in search for those who have lost the will to live. The reason why he chooses people that has lost the will to live is because they're weak-minded and easier to possess. And he uses these people to fight off the planet's toughest warriors. In this case, he'd be fighting off an Kryptonian, Amazon, Atlantean, gods, aliens, assassins, and Batman. And why you guys should publish him? Well, whenever you guys introduce a new character to your comics that can actually take on one of your major heroes, such as Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, etc., your comic sales boost up, like in the 90s, in the death of Superman. When you guys introduced Doomsday, a character that could actually kill the Man of Steel, up until then, people didn't know that Superman could get killed. And you guys showed them that he could, and it caused people to want to read that story. And so, therefore, your comic sales went up. Same went around this exact same time, y'all introduced Bane. And Bane was a character that mentally and physically broke the Bat. And not a lot of characters could do that to Batman, because Batman has taken on the entire Justice League and won. And just recently, you guys have introduced a new character, Gotham, in your DC Rebirth launch. A character who took on the entire Justice League and beat every single one of them. Someone who has the power of a god, and even with like building up mystery with like the Arkham Knight. Who is the Arkham Knight? Who is this character that knows Batman so well? And I feel like y'all could do the same thing with this character, having him take on the entire Justice League. Have him surround this character with mystery on who he actually is and why he's such a menace to your characters. So what I'm technically saying is, make this character an event. Advertise him on a poster at a local comic book shop or wherever, with him standing over like a member of the Justice League. Like, have different posters. Have him standing over Batman saying, "So you're the world's greatest detective," or "So you're the one they call the Dark Knight." And then, or have another one that's him on top of Superman going, "So you're what they call the Man of Steel. You're so pathetic." Like, have this character so well advertised and have people wondering, who is this character that can actually beat the Justice League? Who can actually stand over Superman and taunt him? That's why I think this character will work with your comics. Just real quick, I just want to go over some of his looks. I have a few different sketches I'm going to show you guys where he started and how he evolved into his look now. This is where he started off at. Nothing too fancy, but he started off as a scientist who decided to just make a suit that shot fire, and he was going to be an anti-hero, but I changed that and I decided to turn him into an alien. This one, nothing really much changed. I just added color to the costume, but I was getting kind of bored with the look of the costume, so I turned it into this one where I gave him like a left arm where it was almost like a spear sword that looks almost like a flame. I thought that'd be really cool, and I like the look of the visor, but I ended up with this one that you're looking at now. And the funny story with this one is that I was actually watching the movie Sinister 2, and I was looking at the demon. I was looking at his eyes, and the eyes kind of stood out to me, and I thought this would look cool. So I kind of implemented it with him and the Rorschach character, and I mixed the two together to kind of get the look you see on his face right there. But besides that, the body is just basic, but I really like the look of this, and this is what I'm going to be working with as I progress making this character happen. Now, I'm not going to go far into his backstory, just because in the story that I've made, there was a lot of plot points and twists and shocks that I want to keep a secret until it is time to reveal them. So that way, when readers are reading this comic, they're in shock and they want the next issue to hurry up and come out. Get those sales boosted up, But here's just a quick synopsis of what I have so far for its backstory. John Frank is labeled as the world's worst cop. He is also a single parent who is struggling to take care of his young son, Mark, after his wife had been killed in a tragic accident a few years before. One night, on patrol, he gets a report of robbery. When he gets to the location, he gets out to investigate. He enters the building, even after he is told to wait for backup. But he wants to prove himself, prove that he can actually do something, prove that he is not the world's worst cop. He enters the building. He's walking through when he hears a whisper in his ear. "John," it says to him. He points his gun toward the location. He hears it again and again. He's getting drove mad, and then he sees movement. He points his gun toward the location, and he walks forward. He sees a mysterious, pale white figure with black eyes staring at him. He closes his eyes and shoots his gun. He opens them to find out there was no mysterious figure there. It was an old lady, and she was laying dead on the floor where the figure was standing. Unfortunately for John, though, that was his last mistake, because now he has no job, no source of income for his son, and he's devastated. So before he heads home to his son and his son's babysitter, he stops by a bar and has one too many. When he leaves, he gets in his car and he drives off. He doesn't get even a mile down the road when he crashes head-on into another car. He blacks out. He wakes up with several broken bones, and he sees a state agent sitting in the room with his son. The state agent informs him that he no longer has custody of Mark, so he would be taken away to a foster home. John is even more devastated by this because now not only has he lost his wife, he's lost his son, his job, and he's totaled his car. He has nothing. All he has is the clothes on his back, and hopefully he still has an apartment. But he won't have that for long either because he has no way of paying the rent. So a couple weeks go by, and John's has a few braces on from his broken bones. And he's also turned into a major drunk. That's all he ever does is drink now. And he tries to bum things off other people. And he just decides there's nothing more for him in life. You know, what else could he lose? So he decides it's time to just end it. He walks to the top of his apartment building. He's about to jump off the edge when he hears that same whisper from the other night, whispering in his ear. John. John turns around to see the pale, mysterious white figure sitting there staring at him with his blank, black eyes. And John thinks that he's just drunk and says, "You made me lose my job before? Well, now, what else can you do? There's nothing you can do to me." He steps off and he's fallen. He closes his eyes, and after about 30 seconds of falling, he opens them and he's flying. He hears that whisper in his head again. "Are you ready, John?" And John's bewildered. He doesn't know what's going on. What he doesn't know is that he's about to partake in a long journey. The main focus for this character is to really humanize him. Let's not make him your stereotypical superhero who wants to save a kitten from a tree, or make him your stereotypical villain that wants to steal the secret formula to a sandwich. You know, I want this character to really go through hell. I want the readers to really be drawn into watching him fight to get his life back on track and win the custody rights of his son. Also, while doing this, he forms a bond with the alien spirit that's possessing him. Fantom Fire is going to help John, and John is going to help Fantom Fire. In some cases, he is going to be viewed as the villain. You know, when he goes up against Batman, he's going to be viewed as the villain of that fight because Batman has been around for 3/4 of a century and everyone views Batman as a hero, so Fantom Fire will therefore be the villain. But Fantom Fire has a reason for what he's doing. You know, John has a reason for what he's doing, and he is helping Fantom. You know, John is helping him so that way he can get his life back on track. So that way he can win back his son and win back his life. Maybe even get promoted to a detective or something. In Fantom Fire's case, John is going to be helping Fantom defeat the world's most powerful opponents. Because Fantom, on his galaxy/realm, he's the worst of the worst. They always treat him like crap because he's the runt of the crowd, I guess you could say. So these two are going to get along very great because they're similar. John is a screw-up and is the worst of what he does, and Fantom is also a screw-up and is the worst of what he does. And by working together, these two are really going to form a powerful bond, and they're going to do great things together. Whether it be destroy the Justice League or get Mark back to John. You know, I feel like this is just something that not a lot of comic book characters have, is this family thing. I mean, Batman has the Bat family, but they're always so torn and broken apart. I want this to really be a close bond. I want the readers to really feel for this character. I want them to just feel like, I want them to feel sympathy for this character. It's what I want. And that's why I think that Fantom Fire would be a successful comic book if you guys published him. You know, start him out as an event. Shroud him in mystery. Have people wondering, who is this guy? And then whenever they pick up a Justice League issue, they figure out, oh, this guy could take on the Justice League? This guy means serious business. Oh, what's this? He's getting his own comic book run? Why not pick it up? And then whenever they finally buy his comic book, they realize there's a lot more to this guy than just defeating the Justice League. There's a lot at stake for this character. He wants to get his son back. And there's going to be a lot of twists and turns and things that people's not going to see coming, because there might be ghosts from the past, from John's history, coming back to face him. We could even see some of Fantom's people come into our realm/galaxy. I want to keep that with quotations because there's a mystery to that. But we're going to see some of Fantom's species coming into our realm to fight because they think it's a joke and they're just going to ruin it for him. And who knows? Fantom could be a possible member of the Justice League sooner or later. You know, a team up going on with there. You know, whenever maybe help fight off his own species whenever they take over the world, maybe, you know, because I mean, just Fantom and John could take on the entire Justice League. What can a few, like 2 or 3 of his species do to them? You know, and plus they're going to be more powerful than Fantom and John. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. So there's just so much stuff that can just cause your comic book sales to just rise through the roof. And I'm very confident that this character could really be a great part to your company. I'm going to leave you guys with this. Who is Fantom Fire, and what can he do to help improve your company? I'm going to leave you with that, and I hope to hear from you soon.